All right. Pac-12, we had some action in the Pac-12 last night. Colorado beat Oregon. Stanford beat Washington. Zaire Williams had a triple-double. USC looked awesome winning at Arizona. I mean, Evan Mobley, he's the real deal. UCLA.
Slow down. Evan Mobley is the real deal. Do you know the game before that against Utah, how many field goal attempts he had?
How many?
0.
He didn't shoot against Utah?
Well, he shot. He got fouled. But in the box score, he was 0 for 0 from the field. He had 3 points. All came from the line against Utah. How about that? Like, you can't let that happen. If you're Andy Enfield, you cannot allow that to happen. Now, it was a hell of a win last night. They win at McHale for the first time since 2008. That might have been the O.J. Mayo year. I don't know. Like, I think that win was probably struck in, from the what was Mayo? Mayo had to be around there. I can't remember what year he was.
Was it? Yeah, I think you're right. But here's my thing about Evan Mobley, just to kind of elaborate on the point you were making. The value that he provides, it's not like necessarily scoring, right? Like, I think that the reason why he's such a promising prospect to me is the stuff that he could do defensively, the way that he can move his feet, the fact that he can handle the ball, the way that he can kind of pass and read defenses a little bit, the way that he's used. Like, they already basically use him like an NBA 5 and like dribble handoffs and pops and flaring away from the rim. So that's why I'm like, okay, this guy's got a chance to be really good, because he has all of this talent, but like at the next level, he's basically going to be like I don't want to say a role player, because that's kind of like the wrong way to put it, like a system player.
He could be like a Chris Bosh. Like, he could be like that type.
I could see it, and I'm gonna put a name here, and I'm not saying they're the same kind of player, but I can see him being something similar to like a Draymond Green, where he does a job and he lifts a team from being a good team to a great team, but he's not necessarily the piece that, like,
he's not a star.
He's not. You don't necessarily want to build around him, but if you have him as like your third best player, like, you're probably going to be a championship level contender in 5 years. Like, that's just kind of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, my point was only that there should never be a game that goes by when Evan Mobley, and you look in the box and you see 0 for 0 from the field. Ever.
I mean, you're not wrong. All right. Anything else from the Pac-12 before we move on?
Tubelis, the kid from Arizona, the freshman, really good. Like, he had like 30 last night in the loss. Yeah, Kinjo was terrible. I mean, listen, both those teams, I think I heard Bill is saying, like, rattling off the Pac-12 teams that are going to be tournament teams, and I'm just like, really? Like USC is a tournament team? Like these aren't all tournament teams right now. Like, maybe they will be at the end of the day, but I think we're handing out bids here a little bit premature for the Pac-12.
I think we'll probably get 5 bids for the league, 4 or 5.
Well, without Arizona being eligible, it could be 4. And it really could be 3. Like, it's probably deserving maybe of 3 at the end of the day. We'll see. Oregon losing yesterday doesn't help. I mean, they're not the same team without N'Faly Dante, and they need Will Richardson back. So I want to see them when they're whole. But that, listen, one of the most underrated players in college basketball continues to be Mckinley Wright. Like, nobody talks about him. Plays for Colorado. Nobody ever talks about Colorado. But this kid is a warrior. Like, every time I watch him, I'm just like, I wish he played on a bigger platform. I wish people could see this kid, and not just this year, throughout the course of his career, because I think he's had a hell of a career. And I think if you put him on a team that was capable of, like, if they were on a team like, they could maybe make a Final Four run, it would be so much fun to watch this kid play. I think people would fall in love with him.
Yeah, Tad Boyle. I'm sorry. After
what did you call him?
Tad Doyle. I don't know. I don't know where that came from.
For that,
Tad Boyle, after the game, compared him to Peyton Pritchard, and I think that's exactly the point that you're making. Like, in terms of the level of how good they are, like, there really isn't all that much different. But Peyton Pritchard last year was an All-American. That was in the National Player of the Year conversation for a while, and Mckinley Wright is some guy that plays at Colorado that probably 8 people have heard of outside the city of Boulder. So the last thing I want to touch on real quick, shout out to UCLA. They're 4-0 in the Pac-12, despite the fact that they don't have Chris Smith. That's not bad. They haven't. I guess this Arizona State win is probably their best win in the league, and came without Remy Martin or without a couple other pieces. But a win's a win on the road in overtime. And also Washington State, 9-1. Winning games. They took Arizona to the overtime the other night. They got this freshman center. I'm going to butcher his name.
Say it. Go ahead. Try it again.
F.A. Abogidi. Did I get that anywhere near right? Kid's a pro. Either way, like Google it.
Shout out to F.A. and Tad Doyle.
F.A. and Tad Doyle. Is it Eve? I have no idea what his name is.
I have no idea. I have not watched a Washington State game. I have no idea.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of them. He's because I've bet on them a couple times. He's awesome. He's a pro. Okay. I don't know if it'll be this year, but he's a pro.
His name, but he's a pro.
I can't pronounce. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's going to play in the NBA. Like watch. I guarantee, Goodman. I guarantee. I promise you. Everyone listening on the stream right now, everyone listening on the podcast, everyone that's paying attention to this right now, I promise you, as soon as Goodman watches one Washington State, like one half is all you need, you're going to be tweeting about him.
Really?
I guarantee you're going to be tweeting about, Washington State's got this kid, F.A. something. I don't know how to say his name, but the kid's a pro.
All right. Watch. I'm gonna figure out. I got to get the pronunciation down before I.
Yes, please do. You got to help me out, man. I'm struggling over here. Let me die in the wind.
Abogidi, probably.
Abogidi.